Good afternoon. My name is Del Rodriguez, and this is Flabonga Monthrothacube. With me today, I've got co-host
Tony Stevenson,
Bangin,
free
and
agent.
our fantastic guest,
Zoe Lacey-Cooper.
aka Lil ZLC, rap name Boom.
Coops.
Have either of you guys tried the Wu-Tang Clan name generator?
No. But I
Let's
think
do
I've
that
heard
now,
of it.
shall we?
No,
Let's do that now. Come on, Wu-Tang. I'm serious.
You can do it for me.
You want me to do it for you?
Yeah, go on.
All right, hold up.
The Wu-Tang Clan.
You've not heard of this?
I think I've heard of it. But
It's how Childish Gambino got his rap name.
where was it?
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, Zoe Lacey. Ooh, I spell that correctly.
Is that when they
Ribbit.
use something like your pet name and your maiden name and it comes out with some weird thing?
I don't know how it does it, but apparently yours is Wacko Knight, as in K Knight.
Wacko Knight.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what Tony uses.
Go
Wacko
on.
Knight.
Was that mine or was that Zoe's?
That's Zoe. Zoe is Wacko Knight.
Nice.
Tony, yours is Shrieking Professional. Let's see what Dale Rodriguez comes up with.
They've obviously heard me
Thunderous
talk.
Assassin. Oh, mine's the best one by far. Thunderous
I
Assassin.
just assumed yours was D-Rod.
Not according to
That's where
Wu-Tang.
it came from. Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
Thunderous
Oh.
Assassin.
Thunderous Assassin.
So to the many viewers watching this, thank you for humouring me. That's just my thing. Let's get down to business. Zoe, Coops, ZLC, Wagwan bruv, how's it going?
It's going fine. Ish. I've just, as you all may know, I had my big alternative event on last week. So anyone who is in events will know that I'm a bit of it's a bit like a wedding. People don't realise you spend every waking day of your whole entire working life working all year round for a 3-day event, and then you get on site and people go to me, so what do you do the rest of the year? I've kind of just been spending the whole year on this, and then you kind of get that it's like a wedding, so you have to go up and do your speech. It's very scary, on the podium, and then the event's over and you're tired and you're shattered and you've got nothing left in you, your social battery's done. And then you have this kind of little come down moment where it's like, it's all a bit sad. So I'm kind of in that period right now.
Okay.
Like when an Olympian wins a gold medal and then they're like, now what?
Yeah, exactly. Just a bit,
You've hit the peak.
Yeah. Well, Dale came, took me a couple of years, but I got you there this year, didn't I?
You did. I had a great time. It's a really great event, honestly. I'm not just saying that because you paid me to say it. It's a really good event. She hasn't paid me to say that. I have got no endorsement whatsoever, no kickback. No, it was really cool. Because I like events for the social stuff. I like the events for the learning, but sometimes, just sometimes, the topics at some of these events are of no interest to me whatsoever. And alternate, like, what's his name? Jared
Goodrich.
Thank you.
Smith.
He did a talk in the X Factor format. You guys had an X Factor panel thing. He gave practical tips. Jared, if you ever see this, he probably won't. He's probably busy doing work and being awesome. But he gave practical insights on how to do system stuff internally and use AI effectively.
He did a video, didn't he, showing how it was just brilliant.
I took pictures. I was like, let's do that.
Yeah. He was fun. We did this X Factor thing on the second day, Tone, just because it's just a bit of fun. Callum McRae was the Dermot, and then we had Ryan Piercy and Ariona and Paul as the judges, and I gave them all like X Factor masks. It was all quite fun.
I was going to say, explain the format for those of us that weren't fortunate enough to be in attendance.
So we had our X Factor judges with their little X Factor masks, which was quite fun. And then what we asked was 3 tech leaders to come on stage for 10 minutes and present something practical that they are doing in their firms that's going to be innovational. The theme of our event was, I don't know if you saw my keynote at the beginning, D-Rod, but I actually just said, like, I don't want fluff today. I want you to think practical, share practical, be practical. I don't want any fluff about AI. It's boring. Got to get practical. And I feel like there was still a bit of, people, having to talk about what it is and what it can do. But I did find some good user cases where I thought, ooh, that's interesting.
I would say there was 50% fluff, 50%, good stuff, actual
Because
practical
we need
application.
to know the fluff a little bit as well, don't we? We need to know a little.
No,
we need to know about flamethrower robots.
It's the fluff that binds us together, right? Yeah. It's the fluff that binds us together. Otherwise, it's just bullet point lists, isn't it? It's just
exactly.
This is it. And you're like, okay, done. I've got the point I needed to take away. I can go back now. I can leave.
And how much does that flamethrower robot do?
30 grand, right? Something like that. Like 30K.
Okay.
So yeah, the most important takeaway is you can purchase a flamethrower robot from America for 30 grand.
Practical, all the time.
Definitely can't get that through customs though.
Don't even expense either.
All right, Zoe, we've got to be serious here. We've got to go serious because it's a serious business show. But let's just zoom in. Let's do our band look. We'd be an amazing band.
Yeah, I like that.
So you're an events director. For the uninitiated, what is this? Like, what do you do on the day-to-day? When you're not at the event, because we know what you do at the event, you're busy running around making sure stuff works. But on the day-to-day, those 363 days where you're not doing any work, what work are you actually doing?
So at the moment, currently working on rebooks. I'm working on strategies. I'm looking at the market. I'm looking at to build my advisory board, because essentially the whole program's built around them. So, I'll say to you, Dale, what do you want to learn? And you'll go, I want to learn this. So I'll go, right. We'll put it on the program.
Barbecue. Have a barbecue section. Yeah.
Oh, barbecue time. Yeah, barbecue. So that's kind of just because as I manage the sponsors, the partners, the marketing, the sales. Obviously, there's a fantastic team that I work with that actually does all of the important stuff. But I'm just kind of the person that kind of brings it all together a little bit, and I come up with weird, crazy ideas, and we see if it works, and sort of just test the environment. But most importantly, just working on the alternative community, really, which is our top 300 in accountancy firms, to make sure that they're all happy, as well as our lovely sponsors as well. We've worked some really good vendors this year, actually.
So I've got a question for you. Sponsors or delegates? Hold on, I had it written down somewhere. Yeah.
Is this the panel that we did?
No. Two questions.
Oh.
What is the most annoying thing a delegate has said or asked of you, and what is the most annoying thing an exhibitor has said or asked of you?
So when you're going on site, right, and you're literally traveling up there, and then you don't have access to your computer, you get on site and you're busy, and then someone emails me and says, "Oh,
where are the toilets?"
Yeah, or by the way, can you find out exactly like what hotel I'm in? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't really, and I have to be like, because you know me, I'm like nice, and I like to be a bit of a people pleaser, and it's really hard because I'm kind of a bit like, kind of on site at the moment. I had someone call me. Here we go. Someone called me up and said, "We've just done a LinkedIn video. Can you post it up for me?" And I meant, because I've chased marketing and they haven't done it yet. And I meant, we're all on site at the moment. I'm really sorry. It might not be a bit of a priority right now to put the video up on LinkedIn. And I had to sort of be a bit polite about it.
The hotel one makes me laugh because that's where I don't think I could do your job, because my response would be, you're a grown-up. Find out where you should be. That's my response. Like, because I know on these events, like, there are several emails that go out the week before saying where you need to be, what time you need to be there, and the postcode. So if someone's emailing me the night before, where am I supposed to be sleeping? I'd be like, in your car if you can't sort that shit out. Drop.
I know.
How's that my fault?
It's done though, isn't it? I'm at Fab today, right, and I found myself needing to find a quiet space, and I was like, I don't really want to do it when I get there because I'd like to know beforehand. I was like, I know what I do. I'll message Jake from Accounting Web, and I was like, don't do that, Tone. That's his event.
Definitely busy.
So I didn't do that. I was like, yeah, he'll help me find my problem. He'll definitely be interested in helping me find a quiet space.
It's the most inconsiderate thing you can do.
I didn't do it. I'm proud of myself for not doing it and having caught myself in the act.
The worst delegate one was when I was at Diversified, my very fond Diversified days when we were running Accountex. And we were actually launching another event in a different vertical sector. I'd spent 18 months launching this big event. And what normally happens at these big, large-scale events is you have a red ribbon at the front and you go up and you cut it. It's all very exciting. And I had an exhibitor who was absolutely freaking out because he couldn't find a bin. Because you're supposed to have it, because I'm supposed to have a bin on my stand. And I just remember thinking, I've just worked so hard for this one moment where the tape's going to be cut for this event. It's a big thing for anyone who's launched an event. Because running events is running events, but when you launch an event from concept to actual the day, it's super important to just be there when it opens, because that's the moment. You know, you work for that moment. And he took that moment away from me because he got upset because he didn't have a bin. I'll never forgive him for it.
Hit me up in the DMs,
You know
right?
who it was. Yeah.
You hit me in the DMs, and me and Tony will go have a word with this person. A conversation.
Do you think they know who they are?
Zoe's a nice person. Like, just let's not.
I'm literally walking past with a bin onto me. I'm going, missed it.
Nah.
Did you collect the ribbon and the bin cut and used it, put it in the bin?
Okay, serious question. How do you measure the success of an event?
Oh, that's a really good question. I've just signed up to the Association of Event Organisers because I have my own crew and my own little thing that I like to hang out with. We've been talking about that a lot lately. How we review the success. For me personally, it's being on site and looking at all the happy faces. I didn't get a single complaint from a sponsor. That's pretty big.
Yep.
I mean, tiny little things like, the queue for the dinner was quite long, but they'll always go, but we really appreciate it, so thanks. So no one ever complained.
I'll push back on that one on your behalf, not that I can speak for you. The people at the event who were serving the food said, we're not doing a queuing structure right now. Go around to what you want. Do you know what I did? I went round to what I want and had 3 servings of dinner and didn't wait.
No, I know. I did that too.
I did that because everyone serving said, we're not doing a queue thing. Some people might want this, some people might want this. Because there were like 4 options. It was great. There was like catfish. Never had catfish before. Amazing. Some chicken. So I just went around and got what I wanted and had 3 servings. And some people were queuing still. I was like, that's on you for not following instructions. You can tell what kind of mood I'm in today. Tony.
That's one good way to measure success, I would say. But again, you know, I do go on a lot about being more return on objectives as opposed to return on investment, because I do think that, you know, my objective was to make sure my delegates were happy. We also have a massive vendor first approach to our events, so we are always you probably saw me, Dale, always living, breathing every moment like vendor first approach. Are my vendors happy? And then I obviously look after the delegates, but it's all that kind of sort of thought process. Sorry, go on. You're going to ask.
No, you answered that question flawlessly. I was going to say, Tony, are you okay? You're being kind of quiet right now. Is it feeling good?
Yeah, I am. I was just thinking. This might be a good time for a funny story. So I've never had catfish either, but I was close. And my wife and I were on a trip into the Amazon rainforest, and with the local guides that had taken us on said trip, and I got food poisoning quite badly while we were on this trip, and we got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go for like a morning walk, and I was not very well. Unfortunately, we just made it back to the camp at that time, and then the guys went disappeared off into bed by the bathroom, and then the guys came back after sort of having set a load of hand lines, and he caught catfish which he made for lunch, but unfortunately I was so ill I couldn't eat it.
Well, that's not funny.
So I've also never had catfish either, so but was pretty close.
Deep fried, wasn't it?
It was deep fried and really good. Yeah, it really good, but I couldn't. I was just too poorly. So a slight segue, I think, away from return on investment at events, but it's. I was going to say I attended the roadshows that you did in the back end of last year for Alternative.
Yes, I remember announcing you had full tone to the entire delegates.
You did, yeah. And I think that obviously they're slightly different to a normal event, so this isn't in no way a comparison, but I was eternally impressed and have regurgitated that story to many people about how well you integrated the vendors on that day, because it's quite easy as a vendor to sort of turn up to events that aren't the big events, because everyone comes to the big events knowing we're going to go talk to software. But the smaller events, or the ones that aren't like, you know, the big flagship ones, it can often feel like the vendors are just sort of tucked away to the side with the stand, and it's sort of like the school disco type approach. But having that sort of like, you're not having a stand, you can have your banner, you've got your 2-minute lightning pitch, and then all the sessions are deliberately kind of set up in a way that you're able to dip into the ones, and they're set up for conversations from both sides of the fence was brilliant. And I've told many people what a good job you've done of integrating us that day. And we got some really good conversations out of it, and spoke to some really good people. So
nice,
it's not an easy thing to do.
Thank you. I think the also thing where we're quite lucky is the fact that, you know, with all our sponsors that we deal with, whether it be Free Agent or Sage or Implicit, the key account managers or the representees of those brands know their stuff. So, you know, you were there, Tone, in a round table discussion. You know your stuff. You know, the same with Sage and the same with Implicit. You all know your stuff. And you're able to integrate and talk to the audience because you know your stuff. So you deserve, you know, you earn the right to be there as well. You're not just anyone.
I also find accounting firms eternally fascinating as well, like the inner workings of them. So like, you could put me in that room with no like reason to be there, and I would just be still just as fascinated by the conversations.
Particularly when to imagine this though. So we do residential events. So imagine them all there all day long, and then we give them booze. And the hotels are literally on site, and then we give them booze, and then I don't know how long it went up to. Was it about 1 or 2 a.m. I think?
2, 3 a.m. I think that's the latest someone went to bed. Yeah.
There you go. 2, 3 a.m. all on site. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, but it's fun. It's fun.
The Samoan Circle, that was on point. That was my first experience of a Samoan Circle, and that's a great idea. End of the day, everyone's had like a 15-20 minute break. Go in, sit around. Anyone can jump in and talk. And there were beers, and I didn't join in this year, but if I get to go back next year, I'll join in and give my 2 pennies worth, because
our speaker management sent me your message. So D-Rod wants to be on the Simone next year.
100%.
Because I think it's nothing full. You know, when you do on a panel, it's like, yes, I must talk about my experiences, and it all has to be very professional. Whereas the Simone's like, I'm with a beer, and I'm going to say I'm really annoyed about this, and you go in and go, actually, no, I disagree. You're wrong. And then we had a bit of fun with Nikki Saville and John too. She's like, get off, John. Pulls him out of his seat, sits down. I want another beer. It's just hilarious. It's brilliant. But at the same time, we're actually discussing, you know,
important
real life problems. You know.
So I wonder with the Samoan Circle, right? Does the Samoan Circle have another name to your knowledge? Because like when you put Samoan Circle into Google, it doesn't come up with lots of returns on what the Samoan Circle is. Because I was like, I think I know what it is, but I want to have a look. And I had a look, and I was completely wrong. Had no idea what it was. So for those of people that are listening that don't know what a Samoan Circle is, do you want to describe it? Though?
Can I jump in onto it? I can assume that in Hawaii it's just called a circle.
Yes.
Like how Americans call their muffins English muffins. Like, it's just a muffin, bro. Like,
yeah.
You probably just call it a circle. Sorry, Zoe, please explain the actual concept of a Samoan Circle. That'd be lovely.
Lots of chairs, all facing inwards. 4 big comfy chairs in the middle with a table and a beer bucket with some wine in it. It's basically, to summarise, it's a leaderless panel debate. So we start off with 4 panelists in the middle of the circle who start the conversation. We have a chair that puts in a controversial question. I can't remember what the question was, but it was something about whose responsibility is ROI on tech budgets, for example. And then we start it off, but we try and get a bit controversial where people say what they want to say, and then you'll get someone else who goes, well, I want to say something. So they tap them on the shoulder and they get up and sit back into the outside circle. So then they're in the main circle and they say their point of view, and they get, you know, people will have a laugh or they disagree, and then someone else will get up, and it all just swaps around. So you start with 3 lovely ladies this year round. By the end of it, we changed when we had all men, then we had all women, when we had a bit of a mix, and then I think we ended up with half and half in the end, didn't we? But it mixes and changes up quite a lot. But it's a leaderless panel debate where anyone can get involved, including the vendors and including the delegates. So that's what I quite like.
It's a great idea. Very good concept.
I'm wondering whether you could get an actual physical shepherd's crook to yoink people out the circle with. They were going on for a bit long.
Nicola Saville would have probably done that. she probably would have liked. We actually did on again, I'm not sure if you saw it, Dad, but we do a tech showcase where we actually got a few of our sponsor leaders to come up and share their thought leadership information, because software vendors have a lot of intel about the market and their market reports, so they come up on stage.
The good ones do.
Yeah, though we manage it to every living, breathing part. So what I do is the chairs, Will Farnell and Duncan Hardy, I give them a whistle and a red and yellow card. So if they smell a hint of a sales pitch, they blow the whistle, and actually I think someone got a red card.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got a red card. They actually didn't get walked off or anything like that, but it's just a little bit of fun, because actually what the sponsors have is a lot of market insights to share, but we need to manage it so that the delegates aren't being sold to. They're there to be learning. So that's quite a bit of fun as well. So I need to get a shepherd's hook and put the whistle and crook.
I think I was there. Matt Loon's got a yellow card for his talk. I think he did.
Oh,
yeah.
Matt. Oh,
it was funny. It was cool.
It's all good. It's all done in good taste. Right?
I'm just wondering now, whether, and this is one for me and D-Rod to take offline, I just wondered whether we could do a virtual Samoan circle through this format, and you could just yoink people in and out of the stage, and that'd be quite cool. Quite an undertaking, quite a lot of headache, I'm sure, but it would be that'd be good fun. We'll put it on the maybe list for the future. Maybe.
Technically possible. How we do it, I don't know, but it could be fun. And we'd have to make sure latency is low. That's the biggest challenge, I think, making sure everyone's got a decent connection. But it's possible. I mean, I can kick you off now. Look, he's not there anymore. He's just backstage. It's just me and you, Zoe. How's it going? I can be outrageous. I can kick off Zoe as well. She's the guest. We need her. No one wants to hear me and Tony just talk. We need Zoe on here. Heck, I can remove my...
Oh, just me and you. Yeah. We just leave him gone. He's gone now.
No, he's gone.
And then you froze.
And the saying goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Tony, coffee question, please.
Okay. So Dale and I have some pre-programmed silly questions. My silly questions, it's actually not a silly question, it's a very important question. So first question before the pre-qualifier for this question is, do you drink coffee? That's for you, Zoe.
No, not really.
You're the first guest that said no.
All right, your question's over the minute, mate.
It is. Yes,
anyway, I found a coffee bag that I quite liked at the event last week. I took that home.
Okay.
It's quite nice.
Oh,
we can take you in a different direction.
Darren Glanville's here. Sorry.
Look,
Darren. Hey, Darren.
Dark Web Darren is online.
Did you say Dark Web Darren?
Dark Web Darren, yeah.
Does he know that's his name?
Yeah, he knows that's his nickname.
Dare I ask, why is he called or referred to as Dark Web Darren? Do I want to know?
No, because
we should get him on and find out.
He's just the guy that knows everything about AI.
Does know everything. He knows everyone as well. Yeah. Sorry, Tony, interrupted your question. Let's stay on track.
No, I think you segued out of it. Not you let me out the side door because Zoe said no, I don't drink coffee. So the question is essentially, if we can accept that kind of artisan coffee is the A grade, right? I mean, we'll kind of shoot for that wherever we can. If you can't get hold of that and you need a coffee from the main coffee brand chains, which one is your favorite? Which one are you gonna jog on by? So that is the question. If you don't drink coffee, it's a bit of a redundant question.
Waitrose do the nice coffee bag ones. They're blue, roasted, and it's a coffee bag. I quite like that. Is that allowed?
Oh, I meant your, they give it to you hot so you can drink it straight away. But you can take it home and make it yourself. There's no reason for that.
Home. I don't want it from a real coffee shop. No.
Best answer today. All right, let's whack in the biscuit question. Zoe, if you were a biscuit, what kind of biscuit would you be that accurately portrays your personality and why? But don't just... Let me finish the question, bro.
Blame Bert. Go for it.
No, too late now. Ruined. You'd be a wagon wheel. How does that portray your personality?
Actually, it doesn't at all. I just like wagon wheels. I think when we discussed this in person, when I first met you at the ICB Awards, my answer was a mini gem. You know, the little biscuits with the little ice.
Oh yeah, ice gem.
Yeah, because they're colourful and they're kind of like the base is quite salty, but the top bit's quite sweet, so you get a little bit of a mix. And they're colourful and playful, a bit childish. Yeah, I think that would summarise me a little bit. Yeah.
Do you want?
Great answer.
Do you want a lowbrow question?
Oh, go on then.
I'm going to reformat it.
I always have to just remind Dale, because he gets into a zone where he's on the downward slope and he's enjoying himself, and then he asks a question and then he goes, I wish I hadn't asked that question. But all I'm going to say is this the Bugs Bunny question again? Because if it is, we can skip it.
I'm going to ask it. It is a Bugs Bunny question, but I'm going to change the wording.
Okay. We'll work with, it's always an evolution, right, mate? We've got, we start somewhere and then we reiterate, we move forward, right?
Okay, sorry, Zoe's looking well confused. All right, let me ask the question in a more TV format friendly way. Bugs Bunny, Popeye, SpongeBob, kiss, marry, kill.
So we've got okay. So we've got SpongeBob.
Yep.
Bugs Bunny.
Yep.
And who's third?
Popeye. Whilst you're thinking, Darren Glanville, his biscuit of choice to portray his personality would be a chocolate hobnob.
That's elite.
Is this Snog, Marry, Avoid, or the other one, which is a bit more harsher?
Sorry?
Was it Snog, Marry, Avoid, or? Yeah.
Well, I said kiss, marry, kill, but sure. Snog, Marry, Avoid is an even better way of saying it. I might do it that way.
Oh, yeah, Snog, Marry, Avoid. Always a good one for a Christmas a Christmas team question when you're out.
Or on a live stream on a professional platform, we talk about accounting, finance, events, and how professional we are.
Fabulous, why not? Okay, SpongeBob, Bugs Bunny, Popeye, Snog, Marry, Avoid. Okay, I would. This is tough, man. This is tough. I think I would snog Popeye because he's pretty fit, isn't he? Quite fit.
I would.
Muscles, yeah. I think so. Definitely snog Popeye.
Every day is arm day. Yeah.
Man doesn't squat at all.
I'd marry SpongeBob. Oh, what's that?
You'd marry SpongeBob?
I think I'd marry SpongeBob.
Okay.
He's kind of sweet and kind and, again, a bit childish.
Squishy for a cuddle.
Yeah, we'd have some fun under the sea, wouldn't we? We'd have a bit of a laugh in our little squidgy sponge-like life. Bugs Bunny, just really annoying. Yeah, just really. Mimi. No, that's the Roadrunner, isn't it?
That's Roadrunner.
Oh, Roadrunner. Yeah, Bugs Bunny just has that kind of annoying voice that I'm not really keen on.
Showing my age, I asked that question to someone, and they were like, "Who's Popeye?" I was like, "What? Don't know who Popeye is."
Wow.
In their defense, though,
I'm asking you back this question.
You want to ask this question to me?
Yeah. So, Snog, Marry, Avoid, SpongeBob, Bugs Bunny, Popeye.
So I usually avoid Bugs Bunny because he's annoying. Marry Popeye because I think he'd take care of me. He seems nice. He just has to sweep pee all the time. And what was the other one?
Snog, SpongeBob.
Yeah, why not? Give a little.
It'd be interesting. It would be an interesting experience to snog SpongeBob, wouldn't it? In terms of as a life experience. I mean, it could be a life win.
Kissing the sponge. Yeah.
What about you, Tortone?
Probably the same order, actually. I was thinking about it then. Yeah.
While you're thinking, Rajnikant Patel, hello everyone. He also says, hello people, exclamation mark.
It does.
Can we call you Raj for short? I don't think we met each other, Raj, but can I call you Raj? Are we there yet, buddy? Mr. Patel? Mr. Patel. Mr. Patel, if you've got any questions for Zoe, by the way, feel free to type them in, and if they're appropriate, I'll show them. If they're inappropriate, I'll still show them.
Brilliant. Fabulous. Right, Tortone, D-Rod, what are your favourite biscuits?
I don't eat biscuits.
You don't eat biscuits. He lives vicariously through the other guests that eat biscuits.
Yep. I don't eat biscuits.
Don't eat biscuits. What about you, Tortone?
Waste of calories.
I do. I'm not got a big sweet tooth, but I do enjoy a chocolate hobnob, but taking it a step on further from that, I've really got a deep love of they come in like a sort of tray with like in a black thing, Fox's ones, and they're like mega chocolate chip ones, and they're just awesome. But the next tier on from that, elite god status is like a warm dessert, cookie dough dessert.
So you know when we're at the egg meetings, Tony and I are always hovering around that. Do you know when they used to bring it out of the Welcome Hotel, Warwick? They used to bring them out all warm and gooey and nice.
Yeah, that is quite frequently my dessert choice if it is.
Yeah.
If I was to go down that road, which I don't.
Yeah. Zoe, can you describe a time when you had to handle an unexpected issue during an event, and how did you resolve it? How did you resolve it? The darker, weirder, the better.
Okay. One time.
Hold on, let me just. There we go.
I had a speaker who I had, who's going to come in and speak the next morning. And I said, come the night before, we'll put you in a hotel, come for dinner, hang out with the delegates, and we'll see you in the morning for your session. Brilliant. He turns up. I have no idea what this guy had taken or what he had drunk, but he was having a great, happy time in his little land of whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
He really wanted more alcohol, and I think the queue was quite bad. So he went in and grabbed someone who I know doesn't drink, thinking it was like a vodka and Coke. It was just a Diet Coke. And he leant in and starts drinking this guy's non-alcoholic drink, thinking it was alcohol. It was just the most awkward, weirdest thing I've ever had to experience. We then had to discreetly take him to bed.
Wow.
And then in the morning, we had to... I managed to rejig the whole program, so no one knew what was going on, because obviously did not expect him to jump on stage. He made an absolute fool of himself. But then he just kind of just wandered off, and he looked fine. It was very strange. Very strange.
That is really strange.
So did he turn up at his allotted slot in the morning on what he thought was his allotted slot, expecting to go on stage?
Yes, and we said, not sure this is right, and then they went home.
Wow. That's incredible.
Having done, a bit of speaking, I always take the approach of a sort of like a less is more for maybe a week before, just in case, and that it's, you kind of, that's the priority, right? Not, that's incredible.
I felt a bit sad for them though, because I don't know, maybe he was just having a bad time, but I did feel really sorry for him, because I was like, oh, he's obviously, something's happened and he's not very happy. But the fact is, he's at the event, making everything all tumble around. But anyway, it was was that kind of the answer you were kind of hoping for? Something?
That's a fantastic answer. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Something outrageous, something sensational.
Something also that was not. It was I used to run the outdoor show at Olympia, and it's got that beautiful glass ceilings, absolutely beautiful. The thing is, it rained, and it was a North Face had a big stand, and they had this big storage cupboard in the back of the stand with all of their North Face coats and t-shirts.
They should be fine. Everything's waterproof at North Face. Just whack one of those on and we're good to go. I know. Yeah, see, they're outdoor people. That's their brand.
The day before the event opens, they've got the stand set up, everything's all ready, and something happens to the roof, and everything soaks out all of their merchandise, like everything. It was just horrendous. And I had to deal with that. That was probably a really uncomfortable one to deal with.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm going to give a readout shout out to Darren Glanville again. He says, having seen Tall Tone, I now have Funky Colt Medina in my head now. # random Tall Tone lock. Zoe, if I were a younger person, late teens, early 20s, wanting to get into event management, what route should I go down? What personality traits might I want? And why would I want to go into that sector? That's 3 questions in one.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Like I said, this is something we're actually trying to tackle at the Association of Event Organisers, because it is something you don't just wake up and go, I want to be in events. It really doesn't happen like that. I happen because I've been in media. I started off in media and publishing 20, a bit longer than that, years ago, and accidentally fell into it, and it kind of happened. But for those that kind of what route I took, it was just starting with a local publishing house, printing little newspapers and all that kind of stuff. So selling advertising essentially. Then I went up to the Daily Mail group, and it kind of happens with their events and things like that. So the route would naturally probably be something like working for a local publishing firm, or there's lots of local event companies, that run event like Christmas parties, weddings. There's lots of event agencies out there. If you're talking sort of more of the large scale exhibitions or conferences, the AEO is brilliant. We have our own mentoring groups and training. We have a women in events as well. So if you are a woman that's looking to get into that, we have these fantastic mentoring programs that really support people to get into it. Now, it's not an easy job to do. There was a report that went out that apparently event organisers come in second under fighter pilots as being one of the most stressful jobs you can have.
That doesn't sound right. Who got those stats? I know shenanigans. Like who made up those stats? Where's that report from? I'm calling
event management.
Because statistics, you know that.
No, because in my head I'm like fighter pilot, fine, I get that. But then you've got, I don't know, doctors and police officers. Definitely way more stressful than event management. Like the chance of you getting stabbed as a police officer, way higher.
Agreed. But you know what? I read it somewhere, and it's going to stick with it.
Shenanigans.
It is quite stressful, but then that goes on to question as to sort of what a good personality trait you need, and it is just being a bit calm. I'm probably at my best when I'm most stressed, because I turn into probably calmer than I normally am. As you know, I talk fast, and I'm a bit brave, blurty, and a bit.
You are badass at events. Like I look at you, I'm like, she's got this shit on lockdown. You're just handling the business. It's insane. It's very cool to see.
It's a bit like a duck or a swan, so I'm all calm at the top, but my legs are like
okay.
But
not your first rodeo though, right?
Yeah, like I say, we've done it for 25 years. But however, we've just taken on Abby in marketing. She's just come out of university. She just gets it. She wants to learn, and it's also encouraging people to be like, ask the questions to answer them themselves. And she's just amazing. Like she's absolutely, I can see her. She's just built for this industry. Like she's just going to absolutely boss it. So it is a bit of a personality. I mean, the other thing also is you have to be a bit of a people pleaser. You can't go out there and go, oh, I'm going to be my quirky self and share out all my points of views, because you have to be an absolute people pleaser. I have a lot of people saying their points of view to me, and I just have to, because you have to just work that way.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah. No, I don't think that would be a profession for you. I'll be honest with you. You absolutely have to be a people pleaser. But at the same time, you've got to be a little bit organised. But and being creative. I think being creative as well, like turning that idea into something. I quite like that part. I like doing that part. So I don't know if that
must be quite cool though to see that kind of like conception of an idea sat somewhere in a room somewhere to then not cutting the red tape, but having to take that bin across to whoever needs the bin while the red tape gets cut. There must be quite a quite a journey to go on each time it happens, right?
It is, and I've had visions on so many launches. I did loads of launches with Caston at Diversified, and the same now with Alternative actually. And I think that's where we work best. It is that innovation thought process where you get an idea and you just do it for a laugh and see what happens. And I've been very lucky, very fortunate, very lucky that a lot of things I've worked on have worked out right. But it's a gut feeling, isn't it?
How long is it luck for, Zoe? Or how long is it? Maybe it's me.
It's going to run out one day. Sure it will.
One day. Who knows?
It'll run out one day. Huh? There you go.
I think that was
silence then. That was really nice. It's just a nice, comfortable silence.
Does Skeletor give good business advice, Zoe? Please explain for people who might not know the hell I'm talking about.
Let's go and look this up.
Remember! Yeah.
I just saw that
power of Grayskull.
How can I be the power of Grayskull?
So please explain to people who don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Oh, I saw a post on Facebook. It was about a leadership book, and it had You know, like She-Ra and the Power of Grayskull, basically, and it was a leadership book on how to embrace.
But wasn't it something like lead like Skeletor? And I was like, you can't lead like Skeletor. He's an evil dictator.
Exactly, that's why I thought it'd be funny.
He'll throw you into a volcano if you don't perform properly.
I wish I had a picture of the book now. I don't know if you've got access to it. It was so funny.
Not immediately, unfortunately. I don't have it.
What would Skeletor do, or something like that? Is that what it's called?
I think I did have it, but
Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, here we are. I've got it.
You got it.
There you are. Look.
Yeah. What would Skeletor do?
Diabolical ways to master the universe.
But he's not actually.
Like
he's not a master of the universe. He wants to be, but he's not. That's the problem.
Wow. He's in my eyes, bless him. There you go. Look, Mario Void.
What? Out of He-Man characters, or?
Yeah. Might marry him. That'd be fun.
I'm just letting the intrusive thoughts go away before I speak.
Inside voice, D-Rod. Inside voice. Come on,
you are witnessing growth right here, right now.
You're in a safe place. Well
He's
done.
intercepted those thoughts and considered them before they came out of his mouth.
Well done. Well done,
Very
you.
difficult. Thank you for your patience. Zoe, how is it your blazer is so awesome, and how is it you're color coordinated right now? You've got a pink blazer, and behind you, let me just zoom in on you, or give the audience you. Look at that. Look at the picture frame behind you. Pink picture frame on point.
I didn't do that on purpose, but I got that. So that is an AI. Again, I don't know if you can Google it. Whiz in. So that was an AI picture done at Xerocon last year, where you go in and you talk about your personality and you pick things, and it generated this picture and it printed it for me. And I took it home and I just thought, because I'm massively into pop art, I'm a massive Keith Haring fan, absolutely obsessed with him. So I'm moving around now.
Yep.
So I printed it and got a nice pink frame to go with it. I love pop art, and I just think that literally just defines the inside of my brain. We were saying that earlier, weren't we, D-Rod? Just like that. That's just kind of how my brain works. It's just big, shiny, gooey balls trying to work out how to get through the day.
The texture of your mind.
Colourful.
The texture of my mind, yeah.
The texture of your mind.
Which I stole from my favourite podcast. The guy uses that phrase all the time.
So wait. Is this not your favourite podcast?
I don't think you can say your own podcast is your favourite podcast, can you?
Yes, motherfucker, you can. Who's your best boss?
Okay.
When I was self-employed, me.
Second, okay.
No, too late now. Damage is done.
Can I ask you a question?
Don't get cancelled by my co-host.
Can I ask you a question? So how did the partnership come about? Because that's a big thing, getting someone in to be a little, side person or equal, or how did it come about?
I'm going to go back a step. I'm actually with Tony. FM is not my favourite podcast either, to be honest. It's not. I gave him a hard time. It's not. I love the Infinite Monkey Cage. How did this come about?
We had a chat. Dale and I have known each other for some time through the internet, and we had a chat. And Dale said, I'm at a crossroads. What should we have a chat about? Co-hosting, and we had a chat about it, and we thought it seemed like a good idea, and that's what we did. So I'm still on probation at the moment, so we're going to trial it for 3 months, see how it goes.
I mean, you're not getting paid, so you can do whatever the hell you want, mate. Like
exactly right. And that was it. It just felt like a good yin and yang, right? A good.
Yeah. How do we phrase it today? We're like two dudes who think they're kind of funny, just chatting about stuff.
Two jokers who think they're funny talking about stuff.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you do kind of balance me out a little bit. You stop me from saying really stupid stuff, so thank you. Like sackable stuff.
Yeah. I think we're both similar in the sense that we both like the sounds of our own voices. Hence why we do this, right? And we've got cool pals that we like to talk to about cool things.
So why don't you tell me? So, D-Rod, how long have you been running this for now?
It's almost 3 years now, I think. It's almost 3 years. Yeah, thereabouts. So, yeah.
Do you have any interesting stats? Sorry, I feel like turning this around now, but I'm interested. But have you got any interesting stats? So when you first started, you used to do it in your lunch break, didn't you?
Yep.
And you didn't know who was going to turn up, didn't know how many people were going to do it. So from then to now, what has changed? Have you got like some good fancy numbers you can share and of the success of how?
So peak views on LinkedIn, I've had 100 people live once, which is pretty good for LinkedIn. Now got a YouTube channel. On average, in terms of, because like the stats for the videos, like the good stats are after 3 months because this gets replayed on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Easily getting like 1,000 views, which is pretty decent again for LinkedIn. Had some top-notch guests come on as well, like yourself. Tony's been on as a guest.
Who is your top guest? I think I know the answer to this, but I can't.
My top guest? No, there's been like 3, and for different reasons. So one I often refer to was Gareth Wax, right? So he is a serial entrepreneur, and he, as a side hustle, he does LinkedIn coaching, right? We talk about LinkedIn coaches. But one time he came on to talk about one of his latest investments, about the mycelial growth, right? So mycelial is like the stuff between mushrooms, like, you know, and it can be used for food, it can be used for other things. Because he started talking about that, and at one point I think John Toon and a few others were in the chat, that half-an-hour episode was 25 minutes of mushroom puns. Like, we didn't talk about any business whatsoever. I just laughed the whole time. I think, Tony, you were there as well, maybe, but like people were just making comments. I didn't have to, but I read out the comments. It was just pun after pun. Gareth made some serious business points about what mycelia is and what we can use it for, and packaging and sustainability, but that was 5% of it. The rest of it was just pure mushroom jokes. That one I thoroughly enjoyed. I often reference Eamon Cowrie from Former Zero EMEA. He gave me some tips on just career advice, like, you know, and advice I think other people would do is don't just be good at your job. Have a career path defined. If you want something, if you want to be a director, if you want to be a partner, if you want to be whatever it is, like, write it down, and then a good employer will help you get to that. So have that path in mind. Don't just bumble around. And it's not just about being good at your job. You've got to talk to people. You've got to get out there. And so that was a good one. The one we did the other week with Jordan Vickery was pretty good. That was fun. I don't know. So many. I can't pick just one. There's been some dry ones. I'm not going to name people, but they just don't really talk very much. And it's like why even be on here if you're not going to talk a little bit? I get it. Some people are introverts. I get that. But sometimes it's like putting blood from a stone. I'm like, I will ask an open question. They give a closed answer. I'm like, the hell are you doing? It doesn't. Fun for anyone.
What was the worst one where you just literally asked a question and it was like nothing?
That was me. They had me back on to check it was that bad, and then it was still me. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I genuinely can't remember. I just like I've got memories of, I can't remember who it was, but I just knowing that the episode was dry, right? Just I can tell. Like I didn't learn anything. There were no business insights, and the person wasn't entertaining in any way, shape, or form, and they weren't playing ball. I was like, why have you given up your time to do this? Because like you could be dry and interesting. Like you can be like a boring person but give out some smashing insights. I get that, but not have any of those.
I think to credit Dale, pre-Tone being on this podcast, I was listening to a pod the other day, and they said that when people start podcasts, and I might even go back and dig these out because I want to make sure I've got it right, but it was something along the lines of, if you start a podcast and deliver 7 episodes, I think it is, then you are in 1% of people that deliver podcasts. And then if you deliver 20 episodes, I think it was, or something like that, but we'll go back and dig it out and find the stats, then you are in the 1% of that 1%. So Dale, having delivered 100 episodes, automatically makes him, consistency-wise, in the top 1%, and the 1% of podcasters in the entire world. And they were like
episodes, 100 episodes.
We've gone past 100 because I remember I was counting up to 100 about 6 months ago, and we must have got to it by now. Yeah.
You should have a birthday. You've enriched so many people with your...
Like 12 people tops. I mean, for a long time, it was just my mum and my cat watching this. So, progress.
I actually think what you should do, anyone who comes on here should be made to say the name of the podcast.
I tried that, and it didn't work because some people just adamantly refused the bet. Oh, that's another good episode. I had Lara Manton on, ICB bookkeeping wizard that she is. She took a punt and failed miserably, and I've captured it and reused it many times of her failing to say it. That's why people don't want to say it, because they know I'm going to record it. That's why. And there's clips of me, by the way, failing to say Flabonga Monthrothacube. See, look at how my eyes go up. I've got to concentrate on that. I've got to.
I have managed to say it correctly a couple of times, which is a real high point. But I tried to write it down, and I had to go back to it 2 or 3 times to get it written down correctly.
Well, the best part is in the logo is actually spelled incorrectly.
So then I've written it down wrong, but I don't feel like I can be blamed for that.
Yeah. So you know where it says Monthrothacube, and it says Monthro, the THRO,
Yeah,
and it says THE. It should be an A. Monthrothacube, not Monthrothacube.
Cube.
Okay.
Longer,
Well, we need new graphics anyway, mate, so we'll put that on the list.
We do need new graphics. We need to get Tony on there, not just my Super Saiyan self.
Yeah, I think you both should have your heads behind it.
Yeah. Well, me and Tony back to back.
I am astonished. That's Matt Perkins. I am astonished that no one has jumped in and said hello while I've been doing this. There have been quite a few industry folks. There have been at least 2 former guests that have walked past that I've interviewed. Tim just walked past. His was a great chat. I really enjoyed that. And Jordan also walked past, which was a great chat. Which I really enjoyed.
For all they know, you're actually on an internal call and talking about serious stuff, so they probably don't want to.
Yes, I know. My face naturally tends towards quite serious anyway. So, and you know, like you can give a wave that says like "come over and have a chat," but you can also give a wave that says like "hi, nice to see you," and then the button that the "come over and have a chat" is not implied in that wave. So maybe that's what I've been giving those waves, I think.
So I'm very gutted to be missing Fab this year because people that know me, I do like to, I get on very well with the Diversified gang. They came to my event last week. I also had James and Dan from Daz. They came along, popped in. Tom from Fab came last year. So I'm really, I like to keep in touch with all the other event organisers because
check out the competition, see what they're doing.
I like that.
Yeah, because I sit in quite a different place now as well. It means I can be friends with everyone. Again, like I say, I just like to be friends with everyone. But we all serve the same audience. It makes sense to all get on.
I think there is. I was going to say you're right. There is differentiation between the events. They have similar themes, serving their audience, but you go to each event for different things. So I don't think there's too much clash, to be honest.
No, not at all. I think we've all got our lanes as well now. I think last year really defined that really nicely. I use a tier triangle that everyone sees. I might post it later, actually. It just kind of shows where the tiers sit with the different accountancy firms and where the events fit in as well. But again, like us, Tone and D-Rod, we like going to all of them because they're all amazing. I mean, I wish I had this amount of free events to go to in my event industry. We had one. Which is ironic, really, when you think about it, isn't it?
It's because everyone in your industry is tired of doing their own events. Who's going to run it? Who's going to volunteer to do an event for the events people? No one.
We had one called Confex 2 weeks ago. It was pretty good, actually. Can you imagine? It's an event for event organisers.
Was it wild?
It's like in recruitment, they have like rec to rec, don't they? So where you're recruiting recruiters for recruiters. Yeah. There's a niche there somewhere.
Oh, it's like in accounting, you do audit for accounting firms, right? They've got to, if they're a certain size, they've got to be audited. It's like, who does that? Another accounting firm.
Mentors for mentors, trainers for trainers, as in training people, not trainers as in.
Not the shoes. Crep check.
But maybe we could have trainers for trainers.
I was talking to somebody this morning when I arrived at Fab, so we should give Fab a shout out because I'm here today. It's cracking, really good. I haven't managed even a quarter of a lap yet, but so far looks like a great event. Lots of people here.
Very cool floor plan.
Yellow bags. Yeah.
Really cool floor plan.
I was talking to one John Oakley of
Fuse Works.
John, yeah. And he was saying how much he'd enjoyed your event.
Oh, yeah, because that was their first time. Yeah, it was their first time because events are a big investment, aren't they? It's a lot of work, it's a lot of time out, and again, you've got to think about how you're going to get some return on some way or another. And our event, you can't just rock up and walk around. We're really, really particular on our delegate sponsor ratio. Really, really particular. So, like Tone, you didn't even come because you weren't allowed.
And if I get it, it's half an hour from my house.
I know.
Half an hour from my house.
Because it's just different to,
I got to go to the road shows though, so I didn't feel completely excluded.
No, I know.
I've seen the Simone Circle live.
Daz, Fab, Accountex. I mean, these are incredible shows, all three.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, for any of it. It's just amazing. I think it's amazing.
I always find that when I go to events, obviously we stand on the stand, I do the talks and stuff, so it's quite sort of like got a lot of nervous energy about it. When I get to the end of the events, like day 2, and I feel like my brain is like almost like separate from my body, because I've just had 20-minute super interesting conversation after 20-minute super interesting conversation with people that I knew, people that I didn't. And I looked I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about this concept of like this, your brain being separate to your body, and that's how I always described it. And actually, it's like you can only consume so much interesting information before you overstimulate part of your brain, and that's why you get that sort of like disconnected it's partly obviously the aircon and the 9 coffees that I drink instead of the 2 that I normally drink is probably part of it as well. But like, it takes me 2 or 3 days to sort of decompress after the event, and I always get so many like ideas and like, you know, and good thoughts at events as well. It's just got opportunity to just ignore Slack for a couple of days and you know, and just overdose on smart people's interesting conversations.
Because a lot of people say to me on the night before an event, a lot of people meet up, don't they? Right? And they'll go, "Oh, you're going to come out, going to join us, it'll be fun." I'm like, no. Let me
tell you a story about this guy who tried that. We took him off the speaking roster because he had too many Diet Cokes.
And I always try and book myself just away so I can get a breather, because I need to charge up my social battery, because I am extremely extroverted, but I'm also quite introverted as well. So I have to. So, for example, Dale, you may not have noticed, but I probably took myself off to my room a few times during the event because I had to just be in a quiet room and just reset myself. And then I came out and went, "Wee, here I am again." Woo! You know, it's just that kind of. As I get older, I'm getting a bit more in tune of knowing how my social battery works. And going out the night before, I can't use it all up. I just can't use it all up. So that's one thing I've learned, actually.
Because dealing with people on the day-to-day is hard work, because people are the worst, and I can say that because I'm people.
I love people.
They're the best and the worst, right?
Mostly the worst. Zoe, our session is almost coming to an end. Before we wrap this up, do you have a nugget of wisdom, a bombshell you want to go out on? I'm going to hover over the end stream button. So after you finish your state, Tony's got something to say. Go on, Tony.
Can I just ask a question before you boot us all out? Because I'm interested in this. Who would you like to see us interview? Sorry? It's the name. You can message it to us afterwards, because I just sprung it on you right now because I just thought of it.
Yeah, I've worked with some really good speakers recently who would just blow your minds. But actually, do you know what I think would be really good is Jared Goodridge from More Kingston Smith, the one who did practical, and Charles from Assets, quite new on the speaker scene. Super knowledgeable, super switched on. So those 2 would be my recommendations if they're listening. I'll put a shout out for you.
Maybe we'll get them on. Cool.
Do you want a bit? I've got a wisdom. It comes from Mary Poppins.
Okay.
And it says, I've got to remember the words now. Basically, it's a song, you know, in Snap, the job's a game. And the word is, you find the fun, and Snap, the job's a game. And that's how I look at my career, where I think I've managed to find something I truly enjoy. And in fact, the fun that I have in my job doesn't feel like a job. It's in fact feels like a game. So there you go. That's Mary Poppins quotation for you.